Europa League for the first time since 2009-10.
Yeah, that's right. They're such a consistent side, have been for so many years, but this season wasn't their season, and yes, they were drawn in a difficult group, but you'd still expect them to qualify ahead of Roma, well, I would have anyway. So they'll be disappointed with that. They drop into the Europa League, but Chelsea, I don't think they will have settled for tonight, really. I think they'd really want to top that group, and now, well, there's a 33% chance of getting a good draw and 66 of a bad one.
Hazard confident as ever, not a problem. Barca or PSG, what do you think? Can you see Chelsea beating either of those, Frank?
Well, they'll be very tough games. Great confidence, and you should have that. Chelsea are Chelsea, but and Barca and PSG would know that Chelsea can hurt them. But just going into tonight, the only problem is that you kind of want Chelsea to top the group, and then all of a sudden the options look much better. All of a sudden now it narrows down, and those two teams are glaring. So we'll obviously find out on Monday.
And they made it difficult for themselves, conceding that first goal to Atletico. Michael, the defending here, pretty poor.
You're never happy to concede off a set piece because you work so hard on them. And as Bakayoko, I mean, you can't really blame anybody for the first header because he's so far out. He can never score from there. But it was always a second phase goal, especially with an outswinger as well. So that's the disappointing thing from Chelsea.
I think his body shape's wrong in the first place. He needs to open his body so he can see the run of Saul behind him. And then he sleeps. His concentration goes, and at this level you sleep for a second, and easy goal for Atletico.
They did get the equaliser though. It took an own goal to beat Old Black, but good work from Hazard in the build-up.
Great work from Eden Hazard. He's the main man at the minute for Chelsea. He's creating everything. And Chelsea responded very well to going a goal down. They created a lot of chances, but he is the man that really makes things happen. I mean, myself and Michael sitting here, as soon as he straightens up against somebody, you feel that he can take them either way. His speed off the mark and his balance is too good. The question is it a foul there? It's not. Goes to Hazard. It doesn't matter anyway because he gets his yard and a half, fizzes it across the area. And I think Chelsea, they certainly deserve that little bit of luck to at least get a goal back.
Because you wouldn't really associate with Hazard with raw speed. He's not someone that's going to run away from someone in a race when people are going. But once he stands you up, you've literally got no chance. He's a top gear within 3 strides, and everyone else takes 6 or 7. You're dead if he stands you up.
And what about all those chances then for Chelsea, Frank, with a mixture of disappointing finish and great goalkeeper?
Yeah, I mean, Eden said then about the goalkeeper being on fire. He was to a degree, but there were chances that Chelsea will be disappointed that they missed. Comfortable there from obviously the keeper, but I think Chelsea, just as I say, when they went 1-0 down, they kept creating. Moses here gets in behind. They're peppering a goal. Morata will be a bit disappointed there, even had a slight tug on him. This is the one. Cesc goes well. He realises he hasn't got the pace. Morata's touch. Before he even gets his head up, the goalkeeper's out. So huge credit to the goalkeeper. But the chances kept coming, and unfortunately for Chelsea, it just longer it went on, you looked like there was.
That was a brilliant chance from Willian, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. It was slightly off the ground, but I wouldn't say it took a huge bobble. That one that you thought we were right behind curls away, but there's a couple of big chances there. A couple that you think they're half chances, but there were 2 or 3 proper chances in there.
The overall performance from Chelsea tonight?
I think good. I think that in terms of general play, they did everything they had to do. They were very solid in the first half without being spectacular. They went 1-0 down to a mistake. They responded very well, and it's just some nights those goals don't go in. So let's hope they draw up a 6 on Monday and they don't have to worry about that. But we'll see.
Yeah, that's what they'll be hoping for now, because otherwise it's going to be a real tough ask for Chelsea, isn't it?
And Hazard's right to say that we're Chelsea. People will be worried about us as well, and they will. Nobody will want to draw Chelsea, especially in this next round. I mean, okay, you expect to draw the big boys in quarters and semis, but in the second round you're hoping for a bit of a soft touch in many ways. So, that's what everyone will be thinking. Everybody will be looking at a team like Besiktas and thinking, let's hope to get them. With all due respect, good team, but at this stage, when you can draw Barca or PSG or Besiktas, then we all know who Chelsea are going to be plumbing for.
And after that first goal Chelsea conceded, do you think we're going to see a bit more of Danny Drinkwater rather than Bakayoko?
I don't know. Bakayoko, I think it's well documented. He hasn't, settled quickly at Chelsea in English football in the Premier League as well. And I think he has to come to grips with that. A moment's sleeping, as he said today, doesn't work, so he needs to improve. But he's got options. Drinkwater will play as well, but hopefully Bakayoko will improve as well.
Chelsea could only manage a 1-1 draw at Stamford Bridge with Atletico Madrid tonight. It means Chelsea finishing second in Group C. Atletico, though, heading into the Europa League, and Roma top of that group. And that's a thing we wouldn't have thought of when this draw took place, do you think, Frank? Roma finishing top?
I'm not sure. I think probably most people would say Chelsea, Madrid. Real Madrid are there on, well, they certainly deserved their place, particularly for their performances against Chelsea, where they played very well twice. So it was a tough group, as I say. Listen, it's not the end of the world for Chelsea, but as we said before the game tonight, they would want to be in first place. It wasn't meant to be.
Well, we can hear what Antonio Conte thought of that performance tonight. He's waiting at Stamford Bridge with Paul Dempsey.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, the other sides won't be happy to face Chelsea either, depending on who they get. But disappointing overall, do you think you'll be feeling because of the chances they had and the way they conceded that first goal?
Yeah, there will be a tinge of disappointment, but I think overall you've got to be honest about it, and Chelsea were the better team, created the better chances. So as a manager, you can only do so much, and that's, you've got to keep him happy tonight. What will be in the draw. They can do nothing about it. Now they've qualified. Overall, they should be happy because it was a tough group that they were drawn in. So just to qualify, even if it was second, I'm sure they would have accepted that before it started.
And the reason they finished second, of course, because of what happens at the Olimpico. Roma, Perotti with the goal for Roma, but Karabakh could have got an equaliser in this one, Frank, which would have put Chelsea top.
Yeah, I mean, Roma scored their goal. Probably an element of nerves after this for Roma because they'll have one eye on the Chelsea game this season themselves. They get their goal there. Karabakh proved themselves to really have a go in this group.
Yeah,
they started poorly against Chelsea, but obviously after that with 2 draws against Atletico, and then
what about this from Michel?
It's not the easiest header. He has to try and inject his own power to it, but I'm sure the hearts were in the mouth in terms of Roma fans there because that goes in, and at that point we didn't know that Atletico were going to draw. Roma could have actually potentially been going out.
We've got 12 teams then already qualified for the knockout stages already. Chelsea obviously were already through. Man United have confirmed their position as group winners, so they are through as well, joining Tottenham and Manchester City as well in that last 16. And you've got Chelsea there as runners-up. Chelsea can't play one of the English sides in the last 16, and also they can't play Roma, of course, because they're from the same group. So it's between Frank, Barca, Besiktas or PSG. No prizes for guessing which one they want.
I mean, listen, we shouldn't discredit Besiktas either because they've performed very well in their group, to be fair. So, but obviously, PSG, we're all talking about them. Barcelona, we all know what they have to offer. So Chelsea fans, obviously, realistically, will look at Besiktas. But it's a draw. Who knows? And again, who knows in February where all these different teams are. PSG have been flying through the group, but in February things can be completely different.
There could be one more in there as well, depending on what happens in Liverpool's group tomorrow night as well.
Yeah, that's right. Still, things can change. But before the game, we knew that was the likeliest scenario, that they were one of the 3 teams that Chelsea were going to face if they didn't win today or if they came second today. So it's played out to form, let's say, so far, but there's another day tomorrow to fill in the rest of the places.
What a game, though. Even if Chelsea do draw one of the bigger teams out of those 3, then obviously what a game. And if you're going to win this competition, you have to beat the big boys at some stage.
And what about for Atletico? The last 4 seasons, they've made at least the quarter-finals. Now, in the Europa League, it's been a campaign to forget for them.
Yeah, there's been a lot of change, though, hasn't there, at the club? New stadium. Obviously, the transfer embargo placed upon them for this season. So I think there's a couple of mitigating factors. Their form in the league at the start of the season wasn't great, but as we've touched on, they're getting better. No doubt about it, they'll be disappointed. They're a club that belong in the latter stages of the Champions League. They've proved that for many years now. So they will be disappointed. They go into the Europa League, and obviously they'll be keen to bring in some reinforcements when the window opens for them again.
You'd have to say missing someone like a Diego Costa tonight up front.
Yeah, of course. They missed him. I mean, they knew what they were going into when they signed him. I think they probably hope to get through the group and have him in the latter stages. But listen, they strengthen the Europa League, that's for sure. They'll be a tough potential Arsenal if they're looking forward to where they might be. They're going to be one of the favourites for that competition now. They lost it against Karabakh, and there's no disrespect, but it seemed like Atletico, particularly at home, have to win that game if they're going to want to go through. They beat Roma and drew with Roma, so they lost it in those 2 crucial games.
Bad news for Arsenal. They won it in 2010, and the last time they were in it in 2012, Atletico.
Yeah, and Spanish teams have got an unbelievable record in this competition. competition. Obviously, Sevilla have won it 3 times or something in the meantime as well. So they've virtually dominated that competition. And when you look at the teams dropping down, I think everybody that are currently in the Europa League will be thinking, oh no, not Atletico Madrid.
Obviously, Chelsea missed out in the Champions League last season, so through to the knockouts this time. What would be seen as success this season? How far should they be getting?
It's a good question. Success for a club like Chelsea is to win it. That's a fact, and that's a big statement at this point. They've got a long way to go. But I like the confidence of Eden Hazard there. I do like that. I do believe Chelsea on their game, as they did in Madrid in the group stages, played very, very well. They can go to places and tough places and get results. So if they've got the players fit and if they've got that organisation that Conte brings to the table, of course they can go very far. But this competition is full of so many quality teams. But they're in the hat, as Michael said. Coming second even means that they're in the hat, and then we'll see.
He's talked so much about not getting the reinforcements that he wanted in the summer and his squad not being big enough. Do you think he'll add in January? Does he need to?
Well, that's the other point I was going to make, Lindsay, is that there's so much that can happen between now and when we kick off for the knockout stages. We're talking February. Teams go in and out of form. There's the transfer window to come. So teams could have a real different feel, but by the time we start again. So I'm sure Chelsea will be looking at strengthening again in the window. It's not going to be too many players if they do, but maybe a one player. And if they do, that can bring about improvement. But I think that the form of the team counts for a lot when we start approaching the knockout stages.
And that form can improve in the leagues. They've got West Ham at the weekend. Their next 12 games, they've just got one side in the top 7, which is Arsenal, which would take them right through to the knockout stages.
Yeah, they have a very good run of games on paper. It doesn't always mean that in the Premier League, as we all know. But I think all the teams in the Champions League will be very happy now to put it to bed. It seems hopefully like tomorrow that we're going to get all 5 teams through, and they can all concentrate on their league form, and Chelsea will be the same as everyone else on that front.
Yeah, absolutely. There were